Hey guys, how are you? I was just saying good evening, or yeah, good afternoon or good evening. I can't remember what it's around 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. in Seattle. I literally just made a video, but my phone died, so it's kind of annoying. But I was just saying I should get back to doing YouTube, but you really can't say this stuff out loud without being under a strong Christian covering. But basically, I was gonna say like I read the whole book of Ezekiel in March, April, May, right before I got the Dexian job. And basically, I was just reading the book of Ezekiel, and it's basically like the outline of a temple on the Temple Mount. However, it's also the battlefield, it's the battleground for the end times war. And I was just thinking, we don't know which nations are associated with either Jesus or the Antichrist. But I do know I have heard of Gog and Magog, which I know is Russia and China, and I don't know where that is in the Bible. I've only heard about it on like not Ryan Reese, on a specific Calvary Chapel channel. I just don't remember which channel it is. And then because it hasn't been on my feed or on my algorithm in like probably since like 2020 or 2021. However, basically what I was gonna say is like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what was on the news during that season when I was reading the book of Ezekiel is like that country. It wasn't Syria. It was like a country that was liberated and it was revolution. Like and they ousted like the dictator president who was like what is it called, torturing prisoners. And basically like they showed it on CNN News that it was like this like the correspondent that went there was like not to be racist, like, or opposite of woke, however I say it. I don't even remember what I am, but like it was a white woman with blonde hair, and basically she didn't dress culturally appropriate. She had a scarf and she wore it around her neck. However, she was supposed to cover her head with it, and then basically what I don't have a scarf covering my head right now, but I could. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying that I'm just saying, or braids. I don't know. How would I dress if I was in a third world country? Honestly, I might just like straighten my hair but wear something on top. I wouldn't mind, but I'm not Muslim. I don't know exactly how I would do it. But basically, why would just wear braids? The president who the guy who ousted him is now like best friends with Trump, and he's actually a Muslim extremist, and he was like a former what's it called? He was a former what is it called? Terrorist. Yeah, like terrorist organization. I just forget what the organization's called. So I was watching all of this for like those 3 months when I didn't have a job and I was just looking. And then basically it's like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's like that Russian president or the president of that country fled to Russia. And I was like, okay, so I don't know how these people are aligning with either Jesus or the Antichrist. And it's like what is it called? It is I know that Russia and China are definitely in the Bible as like the anti-Christian countries, and it's also you know what, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I should support. No, that makes a lot of sense. We support Ukraine because Ukraine is, maybe it's Christian, and maybe that's why Russia wants to take them over. I just didn't really know that background, but it actually makes sense. And then what was I gonna say? So yeah, that president fled to Russia. So maybe that country was actually like more like anti-Christian, but the new guy who wanted to take over, who's from a terrorist group, I forget his name, and I forget what the old terrorist group's name is. He was like extremely Muslim, but he would practice, and I think they practice Sharia law, which is basically when they make Christians like obliged to their like legal system or something like that, and like they can't do certain things, and like, they try and take away some of the Christians' right, but they still let them be Christian. And then what was I gonna tell you? Or what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh, hold on, I think that's pretty much all I'm saying. But oh yeah, I'm probably gonna reread the book of Ezekiel again because it basically is a temple and a battleground for the end times war. And then there's like inner courts, but then there's also like, I don't know how it's organized because the book of Ezekiel explains it, but it's in like kind of a really confusing way. And then what else happens? But it's all basically like, I don't know, like Jesus is for Israel, and like Jesus is the one that's gonna take this down, and like all this stuff. And I also want to figure out like what other countries are aligned with either Christ or not with Christ. Even though Trump isn't the best Christian, he is actually really like everything, like a lot of stuff changed Actually, I'm trying to remember it. What has changed this year? I don't know if the country has become more Christian or less Christian. All I remember is in 2022, it was the removal of the Roe v. Wade. I don't know if that was 2022 or 2021. And then what else Christian has happened in this nation? That's honestly the one of the major things that I can think of. Oh yeah, we remember the revivals that was like 2022 in that one school. I can't remember what the school was. There was revival in Free Chapel, but not I wasn't there. It was just that one guy, Percy. I just wasn't there, but I did go to like the women's conference later. But I actually really desired the gifts, like to understand prophecy a little bit more. And I don't really remember what he taught on or how he explained it. I don't just watch YouTube. I go to church. It's just like I sometimes can't get everywhere I need to go. And also it is the household that is holding me back. I cannot live with my mom. I cannot live with my mom because I just don't have my freedom. And Atlanta is just like really spread apart. It's really far. And I just don't know. Right now, if I do move back, I would live in Sandy Springs. But like that's just the first place that I actually wanted to live before my mom came back. And I'm just trying to think real quick. Yeah, right now I just want to understand which countries are going where, because another thing that I was watching was like the whole BRICS nation thing, and like Nigeria is on the BRICS nation, but it's like it's literally China is like the controller of the BRICS nation. So I feel like any country that aligns with the BRICS is aligning with the Antichrist. That's why one of my prophetic words was let the dollar increase and I want the Naira to increase too because it's my home country, but at the same time, I don't think the BRICS nation is a good thing. All right, I just wanted to like drop some commentary. All right, I miss you guys. Bye.